The ancient meeting hall of the Galactic Trade Federation buzzed with voices from a dozen different species. Floating screens showed trade routes, diplomatic agreements, and resource distribution charts. But today, one topic dominated all conversations. Ambassador. Thel adjusted her breathing apparatus and looked around the circular chamber. Her species, the Vortani, had been part of the Federation for over 8 centuries. She had seen wars end, new worlds discovered, and entire civilizations rise to prominence. But she had never seen anything like the mystery that surrounded human space. The question must be asked again, Thel announced, her voice carrying across the chamber. Why do we maintain the human exclusion protocol after 300 years? The room fell silent. Representatives from the mighty Corvan Empire, the peaceful Altarian Republic, and even the secretive Helix Collective all turned their attention to her. This was the question everyone thought about, but rarely spoke aloud. High Chancellor Brix of the Corvan floated in his environmental sphere, his tentacles moving in what his species considered thoughtful patterns. The humans were primitive when we first encountered them. Their technology was barely capable of reaching their own moon. We assumed they would either destroy themselves or slowly develop like other species. But they didn't, Thel replied. They simply vanished behind an invisible wall. No trade, no communication, no expansion beyond their original system. For 3 centuries? Nothing. The Altarian representative, a tall being covered in silver scales, leaned forward. Our exploration ships have tried to make contact. 17 vessels over the past 50 years. None returned. No wreckage, no distress. Signals. They simply cease to exist once they cross into what we believe is human territory. Trade Minister Vex of the Helix Collective spoke in his mechanical voice. Our long-range sensors detect no activity in the Sol system, no energy signatures, no artificial structures, no signs of civilization. It appears empty. Then what happened to our ships? Thel asked. The question hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Every species in the galaxy had theories, but no answers. Some believed humans had destroyed themselves in nuclear war. Others thought they had been conquered by an unknown enemy. The most disturbing theory suggested they had simply evolved beyond the need for technology that other species could detect. Across the galaxy, Captain Nix of the exploration vessel Wanderer received his orders through encrypted channels. His crew represented the finest minds from 12 different worlds. Dr. Kryn was a physicist from Altair Prime. Engineer Bell came from the industrial world of Corvan 7. Navigator Quinn belonged to a species that could calculate hyperspace, jumps in their heads. The Wanderer was one of the most advanced ships in the Federation fleet. Its sensors could detect a single molecule of artificial gas from 3 light years away. Its computers could analyze and decode any known form of communication. Its shields could withstand the explosion of a small star. Set course for the edge of human space, Nix ordered. But maintain maximum distance. We observe only. The journey took 6 days through hyperspace. When they emerged near the Proxima Centauri system, everything appeared normal. The red dwarf star glowed weakly. Several planets orbited in predictable patterns. Space dust drifted according to gravitational forces. Sensors show nothing unusual, Dr. Kryn reported. No artificial structures, no energy signatures, no signs of intelligent life. But this system should be heavily populated by now, Engineer Bell pointed out. Our records show humans had colony ships heading here over 2 centuries ago. Navigator Quinn studied the star charts. According to our calculations, human expansion should have reached at least 15 systems by now. Where is everyone? Captain Nix ordered passive scans only. For 3 days, they watched and waited. The sensors recorded everything: solar wind, patterns, asteroid movements, planetary rotations. All perfectly normal for an uninhabited system. Then, on the 4th day, something changed. Captain, Dr. Kryn's voice carried a note of confusion. I'm detecting energy readings that don't match our database. The main screen showed sensor data that seemed impossible. Massive power signatures appeared and disappeared in microseconds. The readings suggested technology that could harness the energy of entire stars, but the sources were invisible to all their instruments. Could it be natural phenomena? Nix asked. No, Kryn replied. These patterns are too organized, too precise. Something is generating controlled bursts of energy that register at levels we've never seen before. Engineer Bell studied the readings. Our most powerful reactors produce about 10 terawatts. These signatures suggest power generation in the exawatt range. That's 1,000,000 times more energy than our largest space stations use. The mystery deepened when their communication array detected transmissions. The signals were faint, encoded in ways their computers couldn't decode. But the mathematical structure underlying the messages was unlike anything in Federation databases. The complexity is incredible, reported Communications Officer Lin. These aren't simple voice or data transmissions. The encoding suggests they're discussing concepts that our computers can't even translate into understandable terms. Navigator Quinn ran the communication patterns through linguistic analysis software. The structure implies they're not just talking about advanced science. They're discussing engineering projects that span multiple star systems, mathematical theories that extend into dimensions we haven't discovered, and energy manipulation techniques that seem to ignore the laws of physics. Captain Nix studied the accumulated data. For 4 days, they had observed what appeared to be an empty system. But their sensors had detected evidence of technology so advanced it bordered on the impossible. The humans weren't extinct. They weren't primitive. They had become something the Federation had never encountered. Sir, Dr. Kryn spoke quietly. There's something else. I've been analyzing the background radiation patterns. The entire system shows signs of artificial manipulation. Someone has been adjusting stellar output, redirecting solar wind, and modifying planetary orbits with precision that suggests complete control over natural forces. The implications were staggering. The humans hadn't just survived their isolation. They had evolved technologically beyond anything the Federation could comprehend. Their civilization had developed in complete secrecy, advancing far beyond what should have been possible for a species that had barely reached their own moon 3 centuries ago. As the Wanderer prepared to return to Federation space, Captain Nix realized they had discovered something that would change everything. The human exclusion protocol wasn't protecting the galaxy from dangerous primitives. It was protecting the galaxy from a civilization that had transcended conventional understanding of what was possible. The question was no longer why humans remained isolated. The question was what would happen if they ever decided to end that isolation. Deep within the lunar surface, banks of quantum computers processed data streams that would have overwhelmed the most advanced alien civilizations. Dr. Ray Mitchell walked through corridors carved from solid rock, past laboratories where human scientists worked on projects that redefined reality itself. The Terran Defense Initiative occupied a facility that extended 40 kilometers beneath Luna's surface. Hidden from every form of detection known to galactic science, it served as humanity's eyes and ears on the galaxy. For 300 years, humans had watched, learned, and prepared. The Federation ship Wanderer spent 4 days at our border, reported Commander Lisa Torres, reviewing the latest intelligence data. They detected some of our energy signatures but couldn't identify the sources. Mitchell studied the holographic display showing the Wanderer's sensor logs. They're getting better at detecting us. Their equipment has improved significantly over the past decade. Should we be concerned? Torres asked. Not yet, Mitchell replied. They detected the signatures, but couldn't understand what created them. To them, we're still just mysterious energy readings. The truth was carefully guarded among humanity's leadership. 3 centuries ago, when the first alien ships had approached Earth, humanity faced a critical choice. The visitors came not as friends but as conquerors, viewing humans as primitive creatures to be enslaved or eliminated. But the aliens made one crucial mistake. They underestimated human intelligence and determination. While alien species had developed advanced technology over millennia, humans had developed something more valuable: the ability to adapt and improve at incredible speed. Within months of the first alien contact, human scientists had analyzed every piece of alien technology they could observe from long-range scans. Radio transmissions were intercepted and decoded. Energy signatures were studied and understood. Military tactics were analyzed and improved upon. "Show me the latest colony reports," Mitchell ordered. The holographic display shifted to show a three-dimensional map of human space. What appeared to be empty systems to alien sensors actually contained 47 thriving worlds. Each colony was hidden behind sophisticated cloaking fields that made populated planets appear as barren rocks or empty space. New Geneva, humanity's first interstellar colony, now housed 12 million people in cities that existed partially in folded space. The colonists had developed biotechnology that allowed them to reshape matter at the molecular level. Their fusion reactors had evolved into antimatter generators that tapped directly into quantum vacuum energy. Mars Base reports successful completion of Project Titan, Torres noted. They've achieved controlled manipulation of space-time on a planetary scale. Mitchell nodded. Mars had become humanity's primary research center for advanced physics. Beneath its surface, human scientists had built particle accelerators that circled the entire planet. Their experiments with dimensional physics had led to discoveries that alien species wouldn't achieve for thousands of years. "What about the military preparations?" Mitchell asked. Torres activated another display showing humanity's defense network. All 47 systems are now protected by reality anchors. Any alien ship entering our space will find that the laws of physics no longer work the way they expect. The reality anchors were humanity's most closely guarded secret. By manipulating quantum fields on a massive scale, they could alter fundamental constants within their area of effect. Alien fusion reactors would suddenly find that nuclear fusion was impossible. Energy weapons would discover that electromagnetic forces no longer functioned properly. Even basic chemistry could be selectively disabled. "The Federation is planning something," Mitchell said. "Intelligence reports suggest they're considering what they call a humanitarian intervention." Torres frowned. "They think we've destroyed ourselves? Worse, they think we need rescuing." Mitchell activated a new data stream showing intercepted alien communications. "They've convinced themselves that humans must have fallen victim to some catastrophe. Several Federation members are advocating for a joint expedition to investigate and potentially colonize our former territory." The irony was profound. The aliens planned to rescue a species that had evolved so far beyond them that humans could restructure reality on command. It would be like ancient Romans planning to conquer a modern industrial nation. "Should we reveal ourselves?" Torres asked. Mitchell considered the question. Humanity's isolation had been voluntary, chosen to avoid the wars that would inevitably follow if aliens learned the truth. But isolation also meant missing opportunities for peaceful interaction with species that might prove compatible with human values. "Not yet," he decided, "but prepare contingency plans. If they force our hand, we'll need to demonstrate our capabilities without starting a galactic war." In laboratories throughout human space, scientists worked on projects that would seem like magic to alien observers. On Europa, researchers had developed computers that stored data in quantum foam itself, achieving processing speeds that operated outside normal time flow. On Titan, engineers had built manufacturing systems that assembled materials atom by atom, creating substances that had never existed naturally in the universe. The most ambitious project was based on Earth itself. Project Prometheus aimed to demonstrate that humans had moved beyond mere technology into something approaching controlled evolution. Human volunteers underwent procedures that enhanced their cognitive abilities, extended their lifespans indefinitely, and allowed them to interface directly with quantum computers. Any word from the Prometheus volunteers? Mitchell asked. Doctor, Brooks reports successful integration, Torres replied. She can now process information at quantum speeds and perceive 11-dimensional space directly. Her team is working on applications that could reshape entire star systems with focused thought. Mitchell felt a mixture of pride and concern. Humanity was becoming something unprecedented in galactic history, but with such power came the responsibility to use it wisely. Contact Admiral Chen, he ordered. If the Federation won't leave us alone, it's time they understood why we prefer our privacy. 3 days later, Admiral Tom Chen received classified intelligence that confirmed their worst fears. The Federation had approved Resolution 2847, authorizing a joint exploration fleet to investigate human space. 12 ships from 8 different species would cross into the Sol system within the month. They're coming whether we want them to or not, Chen reported to the Terran Council. We have 3 choices: remain hidden and hope they don't find anything important, reveal ourselves peacefully and risk enslavement, or demonstrate why the Human Exclusion Protocol exists. The vote was unanimous. After 3 centuries of isolation, humanity would finally show the galaxy what they had become. The bridge of the Wanderer hummed with nervous energy as Captain Nix made a decision that would change galactic history. His science officer had advised against it. His engineer had warned of the dangers. But curiosity had always been humanity's greatest weakness, and apparently, it was also a trait shared by other species. Launch the probe, Nix commanded. The small device emerged from the Wanderer's cargo bay like a metal seed seeking fertile ground. No larger than a shuttlecraft, the probe contained the most advanced sensors and communication equipment the Federation could produce. Its mission was simple: cross into human territory, record whatever it found, and return with answers to questions that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. Dr. Kryn monitored the probe's progress from his science station. Crossing the boundary line now, all systems functioning normally. The probe's journey into human space triggered alerts across 47 star systems. On Luna, duty officers watched as their sensors detected the small intruder. Within seconds, the Terran Defense Council was notified. Single probe, Federation design, entering the Tau Ceti system, reported Communications Officer Park. Standard exploratory package. No weapons, no military escorts. Dr. Emma Brooks, now serving as Director of Xenological Studies, reviewed the BAS probe specifications through data stolen from Federation networks years ago. It's essentially a flying camera with basic analysis tools. Nothing that poses a direct threat. How do we respond? Asked Admiral Chen. Brooks smiled. We give them something to think about. The probe continued its journey, unaware that it was being shadowed by escort drones invisible to its sensors. These guardians were products of human technology that operated outside conventional physics. Constructed from programmable matter and powered by controlled singularities, they could phase in and out of normal space at will. The probe is attempting deep scans of the Tau Ceti system, reported the monitoring station. It's looking for signs of human civilization. Let it look, Brooks replied, but make sure it sees exactly what we want it to see. The probe's sensors detected what appeared to be a typical star system. 4 rocky planets orbited the central star in predictable patterns. Asteroid belts drifted between planetary orbits. Everything seemed normal and uninhabited, but the probe's advanced instruments detected inconsistencies. Background radiation patterns were slightly too regular. Stellar wind showed minor deflections that suggested artificial interference. Most puzzling of all, several asteroids seemed to be following courses that defied gravitational mechanics. On the Federation ship, Dr. Kryn studied the incoming data with growing confusion. The readings don't make sense. The system appears empty. But something is manipulating natural forces on a massive scale. Could it be automated systems? Suggested Engineer Bell. Perhaps the humans built self-maintaining technology before they... Disappeared. Captain Nix leaned forward in his command chair. Or perhaps they never disappeared at all. The probe detected its first clear sign of human activity when it approached what appeared to be a dead world in the system's outer regions. The planet showed no atmosphere, no water, no signs of life. But thermal imaging revealed underground installations that extended deep into the planetary crust. "Send the probe closer," Nix ordered. As the probe descended toward the planet's surface, it witnessed something that defied explanation. Figures in simple environmental suits were working in an open mining site. They appeared to be extracting common metals using basic tools, but the probe's molecular sensors told a different story. The humans weren't mining metal. They were manipulating atomic structures directly, converting lead into exotic matter that existed in states unknown to Federation science. Their tools were somehow altering the fundamental properties of matter with precision that should have been impossible. "Are you recording this?" Captain Nix asked Dr. Kryn. "Yes, but our computers can't explain what we're seeing. According to our understanding of physics, what those humans are doing is impossible." The probe attempted to scan a nearby orbital structure that appeared to be a simple storage facility. The moment its sensors focused on the installation, everything changed. Human technicians approached the probe with devices that seemed to be made of crystallized light. They didn't destroy the probe or disable it. Instead, they began systematically taking it apart and rebuilding it into something entirely different. "What are they doing to our probe?" Nix demanded. Dr. Kryn's voice carried a note of awe and terror. "They're rewriting its entire structure at the molecular level. Every circuit, every component, every piece of programming. They're not destroying it. They're improving it." The process took less than an hour. When it was complete, the probe had been transformed into something that resembled its original form, but functioned according to principles that Federation science couldn't explain. Its new sensors could perceive 11 dimensions simultaneously. Its communication array could transmit data instantaneously across unlimited distances. Its computer core processed information using quantum effects that operated outside normal time flow. "The probe is coming back online," reported Communications Officer Lin, "but its transmission protocols have been completely altered. The rebuilt probe began sending data that challenged everything the Federation knew about physics, engineering, and the nature of reality itself. The humans hadn't just repaired their visitor. They had turned it into a teaching tool. The first transmission contained blueprints for a fusion reactor that achieved 98% efficiency by manipulating quantum vacuum energy. The second included specifications for a faster-than-light. Drive that folded space-time instead of moving through it. The third transmission provided mathematical formulas that described forces which Federation science had never discovered. "This is impossible," Dr. Kryn whispered. "These designs violate fundamental laws of physics." "Maybe our understanding of physics is incomplete," Captain Nix replied. The probe continued transmitting for 6 hours. It sent detailed information about manufacturing techniques that assembled materials atom by atom. It shared medical technologies that could repair cellular damage and extend lifespans indefinitely. Most disturbing of all, it transmitted weapon designs that could alter the structure of space-time itself. But every blueprint came with a message encoded in mathematical language that any intelligent species could understand. "We share this knowledge freely. We ask only to be left alone." The final transmission was different. Instead of technical data, it contained a simple video message. A human woman appeared on the screen, speaking in perfect Federation standard. "I am Dr. Emma Brooks of the Terran Xenological Studies Division," she said. "Your probe was welcome in our space, as are all visitors who come in peace. We hope the information we've provided will benefit your civilizations. However, we prefer our solitude and ask that you respect our boundaries." The message continued. "We are aware of the Federation's plan to send an exploration fleet to our territory. This would be unwise. We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend our sovereignty if necessary. The choice is yours." the probe shut down its transmitters and began its return journey to Federation space. But it carried more than just data. It carried proof that humanity had evolved beyond anything the galaxy had ever encountered. Captain Nick stared at the accumulated information in stunned silence. The humans weren't primitive survivors hiding from galactic civilization. They were something entirely unprecedented, a species that had achieved technological advancement beyond current understanding of what was possible. Set course for Federation. Space, he ordered quietly. Maximum speed. As the Wanderer departed the edge of human territory, its crew knew they carried news that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. News traveled fast in galactic civilization, but some news traveled faster than light itself. When the Wanderer docked at Federation Station Alpha, its crew carried information that would shatter 3 centuries of assumptions about humanity's fate. The emergency session of the Galactic Trade Federation convened within hours. Representatives from dozens of worlds gathered in person or through quantum communication links. Captain Nix stood before them, still shaken by what he had witnessed in human space. The humans are not extinct, he began simply. They are not primitive. They have become something beyond our current understanding of technological possibility. The chamber erupted in confusion. Ambassador Thel of the Vortani demanded proof. High Chancellor Brix of the Corvin questioned the reliability of the evidence. Trade Minister Vex of the Helix Collective suggested the entire report might be elaborate deception. Dr. Kryn presented the technical data recovered from their transformed probe. The blueprints alone represented advances that should have taken thousands of years to develop. The fusion reactor designs were so efficient they bordered on perpetual motion. The faster-than-light drive specifications described methods of space-time manipulation that had never been theoretically possible. This cannot be accurate, declared Professor Zinn of the Scientific Council. These designs require energy levels that exceed the total output of most star systems. Yet our probe was rebuilt, using exactly these principles, Dr. Kryn replied. We watched humans manipulate matter at the atomic level using handheld tools. We recorded them converting base metals into exotic matter that our computers insist cannot exist. The debate continued for hours, but the evidence was overwhelming. Humanity had not disappeared into extinction or stagnation. They had evolved into something that transcended conventional understanding of what was possible for a technological civilization. On Earth, President Maria Santos reviewed the Federation's response to their demonstration. Intelligence reports indicated massive confusion and debate among alien governments. Some species called for immediate contact. Others demanded military intervention. A few wise voices suggested leaving humanity alone entirely. They're not getting the message, Santos told her advisory council. They still think in terms of conventional diplomacy and warfare. Perhaps we need to be more direct, suggested Admiral Chen. Santos nodded. Implement Operation Looking Glass. It's time they understood why we prefer isolation. 3 days later, Commander Lisa Torres led the first open human fleet into galactic space in 3 centuries. But these were not the primitive chemical rockets that aliens remembered from first contact. The ships that emerged from human space seemed to be made of flowing energy contained in geometric patterns. The fleet consisted of 5 vessels, each no larger than a Federation cruiser. They moved through space in ways that ignored conventional physics, accelerating to near-light speed instantly and changing direction without momentum transfer. Their hulls appeared to be constructed from crystallized mathematics, shifting between solid matter and pure energy as needed. Their destination was Kepler Station, the Federation's largest trade hub and military outpost. Home to representatives from 40 different species, it served as the diplomatic and economic center of galactic civilization. The human fleet arrived without triggering a single sensor alarm. Station security didn't detect their approach. Traffic. Control had no record of incoming vessels. The first indication of their presence came when they simply appeared in the station's main docking bay, having apparently passed through solid walls without disturbing so much as a molecule of the surrounding structure. Station Commander Rex of the Corvan Empire found himself facing something he had never encountered in 40 years of military service. The human ships sat in his docking bay like impossible artifacts, their very presence challenging everything he understood about physics and engineering. "How did they get inside?" he demanded of his security chief. "Unknown, sir. They didn't use the docking ports. They didn't request permission. Our sensors show they materialized inside the bay approximately 3 minutes ago. A communication channel opened without any action from station personnel." A calm human voice spoke in perfect Federation standard. "Kepler Station Command. This is Commander Lisa Torres of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. We request a brief meeting with station leadership." Commander Rex had faced pirate fleets and alien invasion forces, but nothing had prepared him for visitors who could apparently teleport through solid matter. "How did you bypass our shields and hull plating?" "We didn't bypass anything," Torres replied pleasantly. "We simply used a more direct approach. May we come aboard?" The meeting took place in the station's main conference room. Commander Torres arrived with 2 companions, all wearing simple uniforms that seemed to be woven from light itself. They appeared completely human, but station sensors detected energy readings that suggested they were more than biological beings. "We come with a simple message," Torres began. "Humanity appreciates the galaxy's concern for our welfare. However, we prefer our privacy. Further incursions into human space will be met with defensive measures." "What kind of defensive measures?" Commander Rex asked. Torres smiled. "Perhaps a demonstration would be more effective than explanation." The humans led the station's leadership to an observation deck overlooking nearby space. A small asteroid, roughly 1 kilometer in diameter, drifted in the distance. It was a common sight around space stations, useful for mining operations and construction materials. "Watch the asteroid," Torres said simply. Without any visible action from the humans, the asteroid began to change. It didn't explode or break apart. Instead, it converted directly from solid rock into pure energy, creating a brief star that outshone the local sun. The energy then reconverted into matter, but not random rock. The asteroid reformed as a perfect geometric crystal, its faceted surface reflecting station lights in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Controlled matter-to-energy conversion," Torres explained casually. "One of our simpler applications of dimensional physics." Before the station personnel could fully process what they had witnessed, the humans demonstrated their communication technology. Torres spoke a brief message into what appeared to be empty air. Seconds later, the station's long-range sensors detected the same message being broadcast simultaneously from locations across the galaxy. "Instantaneous communication across any distance," she noted. "Useful for coordinating defensive operations." The final demonstration was the most disturbing. Torres asked Commander Rex to check his chronometer. The reading showed 14:27 station time. "Now watch again," she said. The humans engaged in what appeared to be a normal 10-minute conversation among themselves, discussing technical specifications and operational procedures. When they finished, Commander Rex checked his chronometer. Again. It still read 14:27. "Localized time dilation," Torres explained. "We can accelerate our perception and action relative to external observers. From your perspective, our conversation lasted seconds. From our perspective, we had time for detailed planning. The implications were staggering. Humanity possessed technology that could manipulate matter, energy, space, and time itself. They could appear anywhere without detection, communicate instantly across galactic distances, and operate at temporal speeds that made conventional military response impossible." "Why are you showing us this?" Rex asked quietly. Torres's expression became serious. "Because the Federation is planning to send an exploration fleet into our territory. This would be a mistake. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not allow uninvited visitors in our space. What would happen if we sent ships anyway? Nothing permanent, Torres replied. But your crews would find that the laws of physics no longer function as expected in human space. Fusion reactors would shut down. Energy weapons would fail. Even basic chemistry would become unreliable. Your ships would be forced to return to Federation space, where normal physics resume. The message was clear. Humanity had evolved beyond the need for traditional warfare. They could simply alter reality itself to make aggression impossible within their territory. As the human fleet prepared to depart, Torres left behind a communication device that resembled a small crystal. If the Federation wishes to establish peaceful contact in the future, use this. We are not hostile to other species, but we insist on being approached with respect rather than conquest in mind. The human ships departed as mysteriously as they had arrived, simply fading from existence without engaging any visible propulsion systems. Commander Rex found himself holding a piece of technology that represented casual mastery over forces that the Federation's best scientists could barely theorize about. The message was unmistakable. Humanity had become something that transcended conventional understanding of what technological civilization could achieve. The galaxy finally understood why no alien dared enter human space. It wasn't fear of human aggression. It was the recognition that humanity had evolved so far beyond current galactic civilization that contact itself might fundamentally alter the nature of reality for everyone involved. 6 months after the demonstration at Kepler Station, Ambassador Thel of the Vortani received an invitation that would change her understanding of existence itself. The message arrived through channels that bypassed every known form of communication. Technology, appearing directly in her private quarters as words written in light that hung in the air. Ambassador Thel of the Vortani, you are invited to visit Earth as the first official alien guest in human space for 3 centuries. If you accept, transportation will be provided. Reply by speaking your answer aloud. Thel had spent her entire diplomatic career dealing with impossible situations, but nothing had prepared her for an invitation that arrived as suspended photons forming sentences in her native language. After consulting with her government, she spoke her acceptance to the empty air. The response was immediate. A human ship materialized in her quarters, defying every law of physics she understood. The vessel was no larger than a personal transport, but its interior seemed to extend far beyond its external dimensions. Commander Torres greeted her with the same calm smile that had both impressed and terrified Federation leadership. Welcome, aboard, Ambassador. The journey to Earth will take approximately 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Thel checked her calculations. Earth is over 40 light-years from Vortani space. Distance is relative, Torres replied as the ship began moving. We've found that space-time is more flexible than most species realize. The journey through hyperspace was unlike anything in Thel's experience. Instead of the usual disorienting blur of accelerated travel, she could observe the universe passing by in perfect clarity. Stars shifted from distant points to nearby suns and back to memory in seconds. Galaxies wheeled past like cosmic flowers blooming and fading. How is this possible? She asked. We don't actually move through space in the conventional sense, Torres explained. We adjust our dimensional relationship to the rest of the universe. It's more energy efficient than trying to accelerate matter to impossible speeds. When they emerged near Earth, Thel saw a solar system that defied her expectations. The sun appeared brighter and more stable than historical records suggested. The planets orbited in patterns that seemed mathematically perfect. Most surprising of all, the entire system was surrounded by structures that her eyes could see, but her mind couldn't fully comprehend. Those are reality stabilizers, Torres noted, following her gaze. They ensure that the laws of physics remain consistent throughout our space. Without them, some of our more advanced experiments might accidentally alter fundamental constants for neighboring star systems. Earth itself was a revelation. From orbit, it appeared much as historical records described: blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. But as they descended through the atmosphere, Thel realized she was seeing only a surface layer of a far more complex world. The cities existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Buildings phased between solid architecture and pure energy, constructs as their functions required. Parks and gardens grew not just across the landscape but through folded space that allowed infinite expansion within finite areas. Transportation networks moved people and goods through quantum tunnels that connected distant locations instantly. Dr. Emma Brooks met them at what appeared to be a simple landing pad but functioned as a multidimensional transit hub. Her appearance was entirely human, but Thel's enhanced senses detected energy patterns that suggested she was something more than purely biological. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Thel. I've been looking forward to this meeting for quite some time." As they toured the city, Brooks explained the transformation that humanity had undergone during their centuries of isolation. "When we first encountered galactic civilization, we faced a choice. We could reveal ourselves as primitives and risk conquest, or we could use our greatest advantage, being underestimated." The tour revealed wonders that challenged Thel's understanding of what was possible. Human children played games that involved manipulating local gravity fields. Artists created sculptures from controlled plasma that told stories through shifting patterns of light and energy. Scientists conducted experiments that required temporarily suspending various laws of physics within carefully contained areas. "We learned from every species in the galaxy," Brooks continued as they walked through a district where buildings grew like living trees but were composed of programmable matter. "We intercepted your communications, studied your technologies, and improved upon everything we observed." They visited research facilities where human scientists had unlocked secrets that alien civilizations had never imagined. Quantum computers that stored data in the quantum foam itself, achieving processing speeds that operated outside normal temporal flow. Manufacturing systems that assembled materials by direct atomic manipulation, creating substances that had never existed naturally in the universe. The most impressive facility was the Prometheus Center, where volunteers had undergone procedures that enhanced their cognitive abilities far beyond baseline human norms. These enhanced humans could perceive 11-dimensional space directly, process information at quantum speeds, and interface with reality in ways that seemed like magic. The volunteers retained their essential humanity, Brooks assured her as they observed enhanced humans working on projects that spanned multiple star systems. But they can perceive and manipulate aspects of reality that baseline humans cannot access. Thel watched enhanced humans reshape matter with focused thought, communicate instantaneously across galactic distances through quantum entanglement, and solve mathematical problems that had puzzled alien civilizations for millennia. "Why show me this?" Thel asked. "You could have remained hidden indefinitely." Brooks led her to an observation deck that provided a view of Earth's orbital space. Massive structures surrounded the planet. But these weren't conventional space stations. They were reality anchors on a scale that boggled comprehension, devices that could alter the fundamental constants of physics throughout the entire solar system. "Because isolation has costs," Brooks replied. "We've advanced far beyond anything we imagined possible, but we've done it alone. There may be species in the galaxy that could benefit from our knowledge, and perhaps some that could teach us things we haven't discovered." Thel studied the orbital structures with growing understanding. "You're not hiding from the galaxy because you're afraid of us. You're protecting us from yourselves." "Partly, yes," Brooks admitted. "Our technology has advanced to the point where casual mistakes could reshape entire star systems. A failed experiment could accidentally alter the speed of light for neighboring civilizations. An improperly contained reaction could create artificial black holes or tear holes in space-time itself. They visited the deep archives beneath Antarctica, where humanity stored the accumulated knowledge of their transformation. Vast libraries contained not just information, but actual samples of manipulated reality, bottled time, crystallized space, compressed dimensions that existed in containers no larger than coins. "We've learned to edit the source code of the universe," Brooks explained as they walked past displays of impossible materials. "We can create new forms of matter, establish custom physical laws within designated areas, and even generate pocket universes with altered fundamental constants." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just developed advanced technology, they had evolved beyond the constraints that limited other species. They could create custom realities tailored to specific needs, manipulate the flow of time, to accelerate research and manufacture materials that existed according to physical laws they had written themselves. "The Federation is planning another expedition to human space," Thel mentioned. "After your demonstration at Kepler Station, several species are convinced you represent a threat that must be contained." Brooks nodded sadly. "We anticipated this. Reaction. Fear is a natural response to the unknown. That's why we're finally breaking our isolation." She led Thel to the Terran Council chambers, where humanity's leadership was engaged in discussions that would shape the future of galactic civilization. President Santos looked up as they entered. "Ambassador Thel, welcome to Earth. I hope your visit has been educational." "Overwhelming would be more accurate," Thel replied honestly. "Your species has achieved things that our greatest visionaries never imagined possible." "And that terrifies other species," Santos said. "We understand their fear. 3 centuries ago, we were afraid too. But we've learned that fear leads to poor decisions." The president activated a holographic display showing current galactic politics. Several species were forming military alliances specifically to address what they termed the human problem. Trade routes were being redirected to avoid human space. Some governments were developing weapons specifically designed to counter human technology. "They're preparing for war against an enemy they don't understand," Santos continued. "We could defeat any military force they could assemble, but victory would require demonstrating capabilities that would destabilize galactic civilization." Brooks gestured to another display showing humanity's actual capabilities. Their reality, manipulation technology, could simply turn off nuclear fusion throughout enemy fleets, leaving them powerless and drifting. Their dimensional weapons could relocate hostile ships to uninhabited regions of space without harming their crews. Most terrifying of all, they could alter local space-time to trap enemy vessels in temporal loops, experiencing the same few minutes repeatedly until they chose to withdraw. "We don't want to rule the galaxy," Santos explained. "We don't want to conquer other species or impose our values on alien civilizations. We simply want to exist in peace and pursue our research without interference." Thel understood the terrible irony of the situation. Humanity had become so advanced that they were essentially gods compared to other species, but they used their power to maintain isolation rather than seek dominion. They could reshape reality itself, but they chose to remain hidden to avoid the responsibilities that would come with revelation. "What do you want from me?" Thel asked. "Help us find a path forward," Santos replied. "We need a diplomatic solution that doesn't require demonstrating our full capabilities. The galaxy needs to understand that we're not a threat to be conquered, but a civilization that has chosen a different path." Brooks activated the communication device they had left at Kepler Station. "We're prepared to share some of our knowledge with species that approach us peacefully. Medical technologies that could extend lifespans and eliminate genetic diseases, energy systems that could power entire civilizations without depleting natural resources. Scientific methods that could accelerate research by factors of thousands. But not the military applications," Santos added firmly. "We won't share reality manipulation technology or dimensional weapons. Some knowledge is too dangerous to spread until civilizations have developed the wisdom to use it responsibly. As Thel prepared to return to Federation space, she carried with her a new understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy. They weren't conquerors or saviors. They were a species that had accidentally evolved beyond conventional limitations and were struggling to find their role in a universe of less advanced neighbors. The communication device Brooks had given her contained proposals for limited contact protocols. Humanity would establish research stations on the borders of their space where interested species could send scientists to learn. They would share medical and energy technologies freely with civilizations that demonstrated peaceful intentions. Most importantly, they would serve as protectors for any species threatened by cosmic-scale disasters that required reality manipulation to resolve. "The choice is yours," Torres said as they reached Vortani space. "Humanity is ready to end our isolation, but only on terms that don't destabilize galactic civilization." Thel's report to the Federation would change everything. The galaxy finally understood why no alien dared enter human space. It wasn't because humans were hostile or territorial. It was because they had become something so far beyond current galactic understanding that contact itself required careful preparation to avoid cultural and technological shock. The human exclusion protocol would remain in effect, but for different reasons. Instead of protecting the galaxy from dangerous primitives, it would protect galactic civilization from the paradigm shift that would inevitably follow humanity's full emergence into galactic affairs. Humanity had spent 3 centuries learning to transcend the limitations that constrained other species. Now they faced their greatest challenge, learning to interact with civilizations they had surpassed without destroying the delicate balance that kept the galaxy stable. The question was no longer whether humanity would rejoin galactic civilization. The question was whether galactic civilization was ready for what humanity had become.